Good evening and welcome to California Today. I'm Bill Thomas, and here's a preview of some of today's stories. Following a tech executive's murder in San Francisco, the San Francisco police chief offered his condolences. Family members also thanked the public on social media. Critics are calling out a bill that would allow a therapist to take a 12-year-old away without parental consent. They call the bill sanctioned kidnapping. And a rapper is on trial after an actor testified about his involvement with U.S. election interference. He's accused of funneling money through a foreign financier to fund Obama's re-election campaign. We have an update on Cash App executive Bob Lee's alleged fatal stabbing in San Francisco. The police chief offered condolences and said SFPD intends to investigate this case. The victim's family members are also posting publicly on social media.
San Francisco Police Chief Bill Scott released a statement Wednesday night addressing a tech executive's alleged murder on Tuesday. The investigation into Bob Lee's death is, quote, still in the early stages. SFPD will not comment on any evidence or speculate on the circumstances around the crime. Scott says, I would like to express my deepest condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones of Mr. Lee. There is no place for this kind of violent crime against anyone in our city. In addition, SFPD investigators are working to make an arrest. The city's district attorney, Brooke Jenkins, also extended her condolences, saying she intends to hold violent or repeat offenders accountable. Bob's father, Rick Lee, expressed his sorrow in a Facebook post, saying he lost his best friend and son. They remained close even after his wife died in 2019. He said his son worked harder than anyone and was the smartest person he's ever known. Bob had recently moved to Florida last October amid concerns over public safety. His brother Tim also posted saying he's saddened and disheartened. He felt fortunate to grow up with him and felt like he's lost a part of himself. Anyone who has information about this case can call the SFPD 24-hour tip line at 1-415-575-4444 or text a tip to tip 411.
State-sanctioned kidnapping. That's what critics are calling a new California bill. If passed, it would allow a therapist to take a 12-year-old child away from their family and put them in a residential facility. NTD's Daniel Monahan spoke with California attorney Aaron Friday.
AB 448.
The state's Assembly Judiciary Committee approved the bill in March. It would allow mental health counselors to commit children to residential facilities if they so request, even if the child has not claimed abuse or neglect.
AB 665 is a bill that is going to expand the power of mental health providers.
The authors of the bill say its goal is to address recent increases in suicide among youth, particularly Black and Latino youth. Friday believes the true intent is to pull LGBT kids out of homes. She says once a child is 12 in California and goes into the foster care system, they can dictate their own gender treatments.
So they're creating an opening for these kids to get on puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries, which is, each gender questioning child is worth about $1.5 million to the medical community. They are lifetime medical patients.
Losing their child would be just the first step for a parent's nightmare journey.
And the parents then will have the Herculean task of trying to get their child back. But once the child's in the facility, how does the child get out? The parent has to fight and prove themselves to be fit parents. That's the opposite of our laws in the United States.
And the 12-year-old put into such a facility could be in for a rude awakening.
These facilities are underfunded. The workers there get paid minimum wage. They're unlocked. They can be filled with other children who are violent with severe mental health issues.
Friday says the fact that drug dealers and traffickers hang around such places is well known. The attorney, who is a longtime Democrat, says the rights of parents are under assault nationwide.
We have been asleep at the wheel watching quietly, silently, our parental rights be eroded.
Friday and the parents' rights group Our Duty is fighting back with their own bill.
And what this bill says is that schools must inform the parents if their child is taking on a gender identity that does not match their sex. The school teachers know, but the parents are left in the dark.
And the attorney has testified at government hearings.
This bill is state-sanctioned kidnapping.
Friday has a plea for those who want to help.
And I hope that everyone calls their lawmaker and voices their opposition to this.
The bill will head to the Assembly floor for a vote before moving to the Senate. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.
Prosecutors say an Asian financier planned to influence U.S. elections, and the Chinese regime allegedly tried to influence certain government decisions. An American rapper seems to be the key figure in the scheme. Hollywood actor Leonardo DiCaprio testified at the musician's trial this week. More now on that story.
Pras Michel is a founding member of the 1990s hip-hop group the Fugees. He's currently on trial for an alleged campaign finance conspiracy. Federal prosecutors say Michel was enmeshed in political conspiracies involving millions of dollars in foreign money under two different U.S. presidents. He's accused of funneling money from a fugitive Malaysian financier through straw donors to former President Obama's 2012 re-election campaign. That Malaysian financier is named Joe Low. Actor Leonardo DiCaprio testified at Michel's trial this week, saying Low planned on giving a significant donation to the Democratic Party that was somewhere to the tune of 20 to 30 million. DiCaprio says he then replied, "Wow, that's a lot of money." Prosecutors say Michel received $21 million from Low. The DOJ says Low and Michel started the conspiracy to gain access to and influence Obama. U.S. law makes it illegal for foreigners to donate directly or indirectly to U.S. campaigns. Michel allegedly attempted to conceal the funding. The musician has denied the allegations. Michel is also accused of lobbying the Trump administration for the Chinese Communist Party. The party's goal was allegedly for the U.S. to send Chinese dissident Guo Wangui back to China. Just 3 weeks ago, U.S. prosecutors arrested Guo. They're accusing him of orchestrating a scheme to defraud more than $1 billion from his online followers. Michel's lawyers have previously said he's innocent and extremely disappointed in the charges. The defense decided to wait to give its opening statement in the trial that's expected to last weeks.
Economists have estimated that reparations for Black Californians could carry a steep price tag. The state's Reparations Task Force says the payments will compensate Black residents for past harms, but critics say the cost exceeds state and city budgets.
Economists are now estimating that California's proposed reparations for Black Californians could cost the state $800 billion. During Reparations Task Force meetings on March 29th and 30th, the panel suggested, after much deliberation, that state lawmakers are responsible for determining individual payment amounts. Amos Brown, vice chair of the Reparations Committee, said he was, quote, very pleased with the very thorough work. He went on to say, quote, if it were a matter based on a sensible factual plan for reparations, it would even possibly be more than $5 million cash given out to individuals. Some critics have argued that the costs would present significant problems. John Dennis, chairman of the San Francisco Republican Party, told the Epoch Times that the proposal was, quote, completely delusional, in that it's a $50 billion price tag on a city with a $14 billion budget. We can't afford it on a per capita basis. Drafts of similar reparations proposals in the city of San Francisco were also met with criticism this month. The city is currently considering payments of $5 million per Black resident. As for the State Reparations Task Force, it will present a final report to the legislature by June 1st.
We'll take a short break now, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. Auto loans are growing bigger. A study revealed that loans spiked during the pandemic, but the problem is people can't keep up with their payments. A recall effort targeting an LA City Council member has failed. The group leading the effort fell short of the required number of signatures needed to trigger a recall. And police officers work day and night to protect the communities they serve. One officer from Northern California gave NTD a peek into his daily routine. That and more on the way on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, Bill Thomas. Southern California police officers are still searching for two armed and masked carjackers in the Santa Monica area. The suspects allegedly fired shots while attempting to steal a woman's car on Tuesday night.
Santa Monica and Los Angeles police are searching for two armed and masked carjackers in the area. The suspects allegedly fired shots while stealing a woman's car on Tuesday night near a beach parking lot close to the city of Venice. According to CBS 2, the victim walked to the Santa Monica Police Department and reported the crime. She said she was held at gunpoint during the carjacking. According to local media reports, the suspects fired shots, hit at least one vehicle when fleeing the scene, then crashed the stolen car into another vehicle in Venice. At least one suspect is believed to be armed with a semi-automatic weapon. Officers from the Los Angeles Police Department Pacific Division created a perimeter at Main Street and Rose Avenue to search for the suspects. The search continues and the two suspects remain at large.
A new study finds that over the last 3 years, Californians have taken on bigger car loans at an alarming pace. And now more and more people are falling behind on their payments.
UC Berkeley's California Policy Lab released a new study that found steady growth in auto loans from the 2010s through today. But that changed during the pandemic. The lab said, quote, "When the pandemic began in 2020, it rocketed upwards. The average car loan for new or used vehicles is now over $34,000 in California. That's a 27% or a $7,300 increase since 2020. Loans have also increased in length with higher monthly payments during the pandemic. The study also reported that residents' loan debt climbed $1,500 or more per year since the pandemic. One source of these increases could be that a growing number of luxury car shoppers are buying vehicles instead of leasing them, which can drive up costs. This is according to a report issued by Edmunds, a Santa Monica-based car shopping guide. Nationally, auto debt costs have also seen a steady increase in the last 10 years. They reached over $41,000 for new vehicles and nearly $28,000 for used cars at the end of 2022. The report says that the increase in loan numbers can also be partially attributed to auto dealers and lenders. Many have started lengthening loan terms and reducing monthly payments.
One of the contenders vying to replace Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon in 2024 is Jonathan Hatami. Hatami is a current deputy district attorney known for tackling child abuse cases. Let's take a look.
Jonathan Hatami is a deputy district attorney known for taking on high-profile child abuse cases. And in the 2024 elections, he plans to take on LA County District Attorney George Gascon. Hatami, who works in the complex child abuse unit at the Hall of Justice, said he's seen, quote, "the failures of our elected leaders." The prosecutor had several families of victims behind him in support during the March 29th announcement, saying these are the real victims of the criminal justice system, and George Gascon has left them behind. In September 2021, Hatami filed a lawsuit against Los Angeles County. He alleges he was defamed and retaliated against for being an outspoken critic of Gascon. At least 15 other LA County prosecutors are also taking legal action against Gascon. They also accuse him of retaliation or defamation. Gascon was first elected in December 2020 on a promise to radically reform the criminal justice system. His controversial policies include no longer charging minors as adults, ending the death penalty, and removing cash bail for misdemeanors. Gascon, in his short tenure, has already survived 2 recall attempts in 2021 and again in 2022.
An effort to recall LA City Council member Kevin De Leon has failed. De Leon's recall effort came after he was caught on tape making inappropriate comments.
An attempted recall of Los Angeles City Council member Kevin De Leon has failed. According to the LA Times, the campaign to recall De Leon has failed to gather the roughly 21,000 signatures needed to trigger a recall. De Leon first drew controversy over a racist remark he made during a meeting last year. The recall attempt emerged after a leaked audio recording from October 2021 showed former LA City Council President Nuri Martinez and De Leon making racist remarks when referring to another council member's son. The audio also revealed talks of political power grabs. While Martinez decided to resign 6 months ago due to this scandal, De Leon has remained in his position. This past Tuesday was also the last day for residents of LA's 6th district to vote for a replacement for Martinez. The winner is scheduled to be announced on April 14th.
With all that's been going on in the world now, crime trends continue to affect California communities. NTD's David Lamb speaks with a longtime officer about what it's like serving in Silicon Valley for nearly 2 decades.
How are you? What's your name?
Hassan.
Hi, Hassan. Brian. Here's one for you.
Lieutenant Brian Phillip has been with Palo Alto Police since 2004, committing himself to public servitude.
We wear so many different hats in this job that I always joke around. Sometimes I say I'm a police officer, and the next thing you know, I'm a priest. Next thing you know, I'm a marriage counselor. Next thing you know, I'm a child therapist. There's so many things that we do, and we're happy to do it.
The public information officer was initially on the path to be an attorney.
I love writing and researching and worked for a law firm for about 4 years, 3 years during law school and a year after clerking. And then I was kind of going down that road. And then all of these signs kept happening and pointing me back towards the law enforcement side of things. So I kind of pursued my legal career in a police car.
He recalls a moment when he helped a lady struggling with homelessness who then recognized him years later.
My dad had an injury and he was in the hospital in the South Bay in a rehab facility. And I saw this woman, and she thanked me, and I didn't even recognize it was her because she was in such better shape. And that was just amazing.
Staffing levels fluctuate depending on the economy, and according to PAPD, they currently have about 150 employees.
And like now, there's a lot of interest once again in law enforcement for whatever reason that might be, but we're finding that our staffing's actually probably been the best it's been in several years right now. We have a lot of people in training, which is really good to see. And so it feels like things are somewhat turning around. Generally speaking, when there are negative things in the news about bad situations, it doesn't reflect good on us as a profession, and it shouldn't, because we can always do things better sometimes.
Palo Alto is in the Bay Area and is seeing what he calls a regional crime trend on a daily basis.
And we're seeing a lot of property crimes right now. We're seeing a lot of auto burglaries amongst probably all the agencies in the Bay Area. Catalytic converter thefts are rampant still. We're seeing a lot of those. Organized retail crime, where we've got organized criminal crews that'll go to our shopping centers, like Stanford Mall, for instance, and steal from several different stores throughout the Bay Area, same or similar stores.
To combat this, they partner with regional law enforcement partners, sharing intel and investigative strategies.
And we work together to see if we can identify some of these rings so we can disrupt them, either by infiltrating them, making arrests, finding out where they're fencing all their stolen property, educating our retailers as well to how these crews work, the distraction crews and the things that they do to commit these crimes. So,
the city of Palo Alto, known as the birthplace of Silicon Valley, is home to a community of nearly 70,000 residents, of whom Phillip enjoys protecting.
There are so many aspects of this job. It's not just about wearing this uniform and driving around in a police car. It's about being engaged with our community, hearing feedback from them, what we do good, what we could do better, and also having them support us when we need them. Because without them, we can't work together. And so it's a partnership.
Reporting in Palo Alto, California, David Lamb, NTD News.
Now to NTD's Tyler Castillo for an update on sports.
Hello, I'm Tyler Castillo. Welcome to today's California Sports Roundup.
Norman Powell scored 27 points off the bench, and Kawhi Leonard added 25 as the Los Angeles Clippers move closer to securing a top 6 spot in the Western Conference with a victory over the visiting Los Angeles Lakers. The Clippers won their 11th consecutive game against the Lakers. Ivica Zubac scored 17 points and grabbed 13 rebounds, and Russell Westbrook had 14 points against his former team for the Clippers, who are tied with the Golden State Warriors for 5th in the West, but hold the tiebreaker. LeBron James scored 33 points, and Anthony Davis added 17 points and 11 rebounds as the Lakers saw their 4-game winning streak come to an end. Clippers 125, Lakers 118. Shohei Ohtani pitched 6 solid innings, and Logan O'Hoppe homered as Los Angeles defeated host Seattle, taking 2 of 3 in the series between the American League West rivals. Ohtani allowed 1 run on 3 hits with 4 walks and 8 strikeouts. Jose Quijada worked the ninth for his first save of the season. Ohtani and Mike Trout each had RBI hits. The Mariners' Chris Flexen nearly matched Ohtani. Flexen allowed 2 runs on 2 hits in 5 innings with 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. Eugenio Suarez went 2 for 4 with a pair of RBIs, and Ty France added an RBI double. Angels 4, Mariners 3. Clem Costin had a goal and an assist, and Jack Campbell made 27 saves as visiting Edmonton earned its 6th straight win, beating Anaheim. Troy Terry scored a goal, and Lucas Doskel stopped 30 of 32 shots for Anaheim, which took a franchise record 9th straight loss in regulation. The Ducks are currently last in the Pacific and last in the league, officially holding the best odds for the number 1 pick of this year's draft. Oilers 3, Ducks 1.
That is all we have for sports today. I'm Todd Castillo. See you next time.
That's all we have for you tonight, and would like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Also, make sure to check out our broadcasts on our California Today webpage, and you can find that at ntd.com/California-Today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there ready to share with friends and family. And if you could, please send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or through our email at california.today@ntd.com. I'm Bill Thomas, and for all of us here in the newsroom, have a great night.